We're going in deep with Season 5. We're looking at the Shadow Company faction, specifically the final story mission for Tier 2 of this faction. This one's called Coney Secrets. Let's go. As we've come to expect, story missions for the factions tend to be a little bit more spicy, a little bit more difficult than the requirements of what you have to do, and this mission is no different. Now we have 3 steps here. The first one saying that we need to find the intel off the Coney bomb maker. And then secondly, we need to send a false signal for Coney reinforcements at the target location. And then lastly, we need to be taking and extracting the combat intel off of the Coney reinforcements that are arriving due to that second step there. Now, while it isn't specifically mentioned in the briefing for this mission actually requires you to go to 2 different locations. First and foremost, the bomb maker that's mentioned in the first part of this mission is actually the bomb maker on Ashika Island, located inside the Suki Castle complex. So you will need to be traveling to Ashika Island and killing this guy so that you can get the intel document that he drops. Secondly, Part 2 and 3 actually take place on Al Mazrah, since the location that's mentioned there is actually located quite near Zaya Observatory in a previous location where the transporter mission was. If you're familiar with that, where you have to take the bomb from there to basically into Al Mazrah city, but it's basically the same bunk over there. So nonetheless, we have to be traveling to 2 different locations. Now, a quick side note before we get into the detail of each one of the steps, I do want to mention that you are able to actually do step 2 and step 3 of this mission before step 1. However, I would highly advise you not to, as there's been widespread reports of this actually breaking the mission progress and making it so that you can't actually complete the mission. So definitely do it in the 1, 2, 3 order. In other words, we're going after the bomb maker first before we do step 2 and 3. So, killing the bomb maker on Ashika Island. This is hard, but it's also not hard, and let me try to explain. First and foremost, Ashika Island at this moment is every PvPer's wet dream, and everybody drops in there with squads of 3 to 6 and essentially roam the island, murdering out everybody. No quota is given. They don't give a shit if people are doing missions, anything like that. Basically, it's just these roaming death squads that just want to get into PvP combat the entire time. The good thing about this is that most of them aren't playing objectives on the island, meaning that generally speaking, the bomb maker is left alone. Nobody goes to this middle area. Nobody tries to go into Suki Castle. The main point though is once you do access the castle complex, you are going to set off an alarm, and these players that are roaming the area looking to fucking snuff out everybody that's having fun are gonna come directly for you. So absolutely, time is of the essence here. Now, the fastest way into the castle is if you have a Suki Castle key. This is going to let you just open the door immediately without fucking with the Wilson or anything like that, because the main point is you're just trying to get into the castle and up to the bomb maker, kill him as fast as possible. If you don't have access to one of these keys, you are going to have to deal with the Wilson, since you have to disable the Wilson and then hack it for these doors to be open. Now, the good news is this isn't that difficult at all, and you can essentially use 2 thermites, which will pretty much kill him. You can also just shoot him with a rocket launcher or something like that. You can disable him with a DDoS, but the point is, as soon as you disabled this Wilson and hacked it, you have access to the castle, and the next part starts. Bust your way into the castle and start fighting your way up to the 3rd floor, which is where the bomb maker hangs out. You're gonna have to contend with turrets, guys with shields, heavy plated enemies, mines, tripwires, and all of that, but essentially pick either the furthest to the left side of the castle and make your way up there, or the furthest to the right next to the armory. Nonetheless, whichever side you pick, as you get close to the top, be sure to avoid the tripwires and essentially take out the guys with the shields by using the sides of the stairs and the trip mines to essentially corral them into an area where you can very easily kill them. As you get to the top here, kill this bomb maker, and he's going to drop a missile info folder. This is the folder that you need to be picking up. Now, bear in mind, you don't actually need to extract this folder to get success for this step. So even if you were to die now, you'd be perfectly fine, but I highly advise you to actually extract this missile intel folder, because it is entirely likely that we'll have to use this folder at a later stage in tier 3, 4, and 5 for the Coney, once that is revealed when Season 5 Reloaded drops. If you're still with me and you're still looking forward to Extraction, stock up on as much stuff as you can in this room, get yourself a large amount of plates as you can, and then grab your missile intel folder and make your way to the Extraction. If you feel like extracting the weapons case, you can absolutely do that as well, but make your way to the closest Extraction and get off the island with your missile intel folder, and you're going to be good to go, and it's on to the next step. Alrighty, so now we can drop the tension, everything. The rest of this mission is a fucking breeze. It really is only this part of killing the bomb maker on Ashika. So from here on, let's relax, woosah, grab a beer, chill out, because this next part is going to be super easy. As soon as you drop into Al Mazrah, the location that you're looking for sits all the way up here, right next to Zaya Observatory. Now, as you get close to this area, as mentioned before, you should recognize it from prior missions in the DMZ, but it's essentially a little hangar here that's closed by a giant bunker door, and as you stand in front of this, you're gonna see a prompt that allows you to call in a reinforcement chopper. As soon as you click that, you will get the notice of the reinforcement chopper coming in, and this is a chopper with about 6 to 7 Konni troops on them, and you simply lay waste to all these guys, and you're gonna have multiples of this combat intel document dropping. In my case, I stopped looking after 3, but I went ahead and extracted 3 of these, as I'm sure these will also come in handy later on in tier 3, 4, and 5, as soon as we know exactly what that actually entails in Season 5, the reloaded portion of that. But I digress. As soon as you extract with even one of these combat intel folders and you've done the other 2 steps, that's going to be mission completion on this story mission, and we're ready and waiting for tier 3 to drop when Reloaded comes out. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Go ahead and give the video a like and maybe a comment if you found this information useful in any way, as well as consider subbing to the channel for all things DMZ. I cover missions and all the tiers, all the factions, key guides, all of that, pretty much everything a growing boy needs for some DMZ action. But other than that, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Till next video, fucking cheers.